Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. It is Monday the 22nd of June. We have new mods, we have a couple of updates. First off, an apology for not doing the mods on Friday. I was otherwise indisposed and unable to do the mod review. There is an update from Friday that I do want to talk about though. So the updates for today. There has been an update to the Syntrack by ITS. It does say about mowing next level. It's added a couple of things in on that. The cattle pasture by Farmer 1602 has also had an update. There has been a new Geo. I'll just say because I'm adding this on later on. Washoe Nevada Seasons Geo by Missy B is new today. That has been added. That's not an update, but I just suddenly remembered while I'm recording this bit. And the update for Friday was the one I want to talk about. There were a few updates on Friday, but the one I want to talk about is for the map I'm on now, my test map for No Man's Land by Alien Jim. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to look at them really, but in looking at it, the update for this map has included 50 new placeables for No Man's Land. Now, obviously, the problem with placeables is when you go back on, it's remembering what ones were there before and which ones weren't. But just as a quick, just to show you, things like the beach tent, the castle ruin. We've got garden, not garden centre, folding bench and tables, garden metal shed. We've got some poles. We've got some Mercury farmhouses for buildings as placeables. Parasol and plastic seat, rowing boat, garden sheds. What else was added? Oh yeah, the parking. Then we got parked vehicles. Now we did have a parked vehicles pack that came out the other day, but this has got some extra ones in it, some really nice ones. Parked tipper truck, parked excavator, old junk tractor, old manure trailer, old junk harvester, old junk pickup, old junk fuel truck, junk bus. There's some nice, really nice placeables. If you want to add a little bit of something to your map, whatever it might be, if you're building it up and you just want to have a few things dotted around. There's some shipping containers, one with an open front, wooden table set. There's a whole load of stuff has been put in new. There's a new farmhouse that he's put in too. If we'll go on to farmhouses, the log cabin one there. This is the one, the standard farmhouse that came with No Man's Land originally. So this one here, to the left of that, the new farmhouse, the log cabin style one. So I thought it was worth mentioning. I didn't, like I said, I didn't have a chance to have a proper look. So thank you for Food Farmer for messaging me to ask me if I'd had a look at it, because it kind of pushed me into having a look. Anyway, another update we've had, and one that I want to talk about or look at, is this one. This is the SDL Group Pack by RL Modding. Now when this first came out, I'm sure it said SDL Group Pack, but it only had the Same Fortis in it. And I thought at the time, that's a bit weird, why has it only got one tractor and it says pack? Well, the update has now given us the Lamborghini Spark and the Deutzfahr Agritron in this pack. Added them in. Really nicely detailed. In essence, they have got the same options available in all of them. So tyre choice options, engine size options and stuff on all three of these is pretty much the same. So now we've got 3 of them in this pack, and that's kind of the update I wanted to talk about. The fact that adding 2 new tractors is, you know, fairly important, I guess. I will have a quick look. Actually, we're gonna. Well, I won't go through all 3 of them. There's no point, because, like I say, they're all pretty much the same. But we'll get to, there we go, the Same Fortis, the Deutzfahr Agritron, and the Spark. Price is identical. Slot count on the Same. Oh, apologies if I say it wrong, is 9, and these 2 are 12 each. But if we have a look at, for example, the Agritron, we've got the option for Trelleborg and Michelin. Under the Michelins, we've only got standard, there's no options available on that. But on the Trelleborg, we've got standard, wheel weights, wides, wide and weights, narrows, back to standard. We can have it without front fender, with front fender, and then we can have the 166 horsepower at 160, the 190 193 horsepower, and then the 210 at 210 horsepower, and then we got the option front loader attacher, yes or no. And that's the same, those options are the same in all three of those, but we do have an extra 2 added in. Very nice indeed. Moving on. We've got this. This is the Horsch Leeb V LT. This is by 76 Max. This is a fertiliser and herbicide sprayer. We won't do both at the same time. This has got the boxed rail sections. When the new Vigneron and Vulcano pack came out the other day, I was looking at the sprayers and stuff on there, and they're the options on the rails of standard rails or these type boxed in ones. That's a nice feature. This is a 5,000 litre boom sprayer. The boom goes out to 38 metres, I think it is. We'll have a double check in a second. It's a bit pricey, but I suppose if it's the very latest thing from Horsch, you would expect it to be. But I suppose, again, if you're looking at options for spraying and you are looking at price, it isn't the cheapest of options available. This will use, find it on my list, 17 slots. You will find it under tools, you'll find it under crop protection. I'll show you what I mean. So the Leeb 5 LT is 145 grand for a 5,000 litre tank. The Navigator is a 6,000 litre tank for 115. Although it's 2 metres more on the boom width, we've got the Vigneron IX tractor came in the pack, 4,600. Now that goes 18 metres up to 36, I think it was. Or did it go up to 40, that one? That's only 66,500. So it is on the pricier end. Options available, we can have Trelleborg or Michelin, but just standard tyres, there's no other options available on that, and it comes set at 38 metres. You can't adjust that or get different sizes for it. I think I'd put fertiliser in it, pretty sure. But we'll have a look at the animation because, you know, they go to a lot of trouble to get these things to work. It does have a beacon on the back. I'll open it out. Very nice indeed. Lowers into position. We do have the ability to raise and lower. L1 and right stick up and down. You can raise and lower. So if you want to go for more aesthetic, if you're going over higher crops, you don't want to drag this boom through, you can raise it up if you want to. And or if you're going along hillsides or slopes where you might need to adjust the level, you can do just that. You turn on and you spray in a 38 metre kind of way. It's very nice. Nice tidy mod. Rear steering, so those 2 wheels on the back of that do steer, which enables much tighter turning. If you see as we turn, you can see them turning. Gives the whole thing a nice turning profile. Very cool indeed. So there you go, that's the Horsch Leeb V LT by 76 Max. Moving on, we've got a load of tractors today again. But we have got some really cool stuff here. Now these were showing us updates, but the update was bringing them to console. This is the Emily set by SimulagriModding. We've got the Emily Melodis, and I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Melodis. We've got a 4.2 and a 7.5, obviously size and capacity. These are, you can just spread fodder if you want to, or straw bedding if you want to do that, but these are feed mixers. So as opposed to a trailed feed mixer, this is a feed mixer you can attach to a telehandler or a wheel loader, which I've got one of each there. Obviously this one is a bit big for a telehandler. It looks a little bit big. The telehandler will take the weight. It will do it, no problem at all, but it just looks a bit big, so that one I would say is more suited for the wheel loader. The smaller one more suited for the telehandler. But they are feed mixers now. The fact they're feed mixers, these are better suited to mixing loose feed. So if you've got loose material, straw, silage, hay, or just silage and hay to make up your feed mixes for cows, this is for total mix ration, they are much better suited to that, because obviously the capacities, if you're putting 4,000 litre bales in, unless you're using the small bales, using the mini balers, you might be able to get away with chucking some mini bales into those, but again, getting the balance right on the feed mix is a lot harder when you're doing that than it is with doing it with loose product. So we'll have a look at these first. These you'll find under Animals. We've got the Melodis 4.2 and the Melodis 7.5. These were both 3 slots each. The 4.2 is 4,200 litres and the 7.5 is 7,500 litres. Options available, there are none. You get what you get. You get it in the Emily colours. So what we'll do, we'll try. Let's grab this one first. And we'll hook up. Now what I'm going to do is open the help menu, because what you want to see down the bottom is the mixing ratio, because if you're going to be mixed up total mix ration, you want to be able to see your mixing ratio. Now, to get a total mix ration, you don't have to use straw. You can just do it by doing a mix of hay and silage. I generally do all 3. That's my own personal preference. Getting the balances right is a little bit trickier. Generally speaking, you want twice as much hay as you do the other 2. So what I'm going to do is just very gently, again, like I say, I don't know how this is going to work. We'll try our best. We'll get a little bit in. Now that's interesting. Do I have to turn it on first? Potentially. Let's turn it on first. Oh, you do. And what I like about that is that takes it very gently. You often find when you go into a pile, it takes loads and loads and loads in one go. So you have to turn it on first. What we'll do is we'll get a bit of silage in there. We'll match the silage. We'll try and get another 500 litres of silage in. We'll a little bit over. And then we'll get a bit of hay in, so we're going to take that up to about 2,000 litres of the hay. You'll see the bars, when you get to green, like that, we've now got total mixed ration. Bottom right hand side it says total mixed ration. And obviously I've only got 1,400 litres in there at the moment, so I'd want to keep going with that mixture, and you'll see it will probably offset itself a little bit now. But you can do various different mixes, and you keep going until you get a full load. So at the moment, we have still got total mixed ration in there. And then when you want to come to the feed area, you can open and close this bucket. If I do my right stick side to side, said bucket, the grab like that. You can do that. But then when we come to actually unload, I think we can change the side. How many was it? Just one side? I think it's just one side for tipping. If I do unload here now, L1, R1 and triangle, opens up that little side chute and the total mixed ration comes out the side, which is fantastic. So if you're doing it into a feed trough, you just drive it on the side, out it goes, just close up down again, and you're absolutely sorted. It's a nice bit of kit. I'm very impressed with the fact I've used these before, various different modded versions, and you often find they take the mix in so quickly. Trying to get a nice balanced feed mix is really, really difficult. That seemed to go in quite nicely. Again, you've got to be a bit more, you've got to be gentle with it. If you just go ploughing into your pile of whatever it is you've got, it's not going to go as nice as you'd like. Like I say, this one looks a bit more suited to a wheel loader when you look at the size of it. So again, R1 and right stick, side to side, we can open and close that. We can turn it on, like so. Now that rolling bar at the front there is designed for, in the real world, if you've got a bunker silo with silage in it and you normally shave it, so when you come in the silage is so tightly packed in the bunker silo you almost like carve it off the front, and that's what that rotating bar is for. That kind of cuts the silage off the front of your clamp as you go down. So what we'll do is, again, I'll try and get a bit of a mix. I'm not going to get a full load here, but what are we up to? 1,000 litres. Let's just stop there a second. So I want to try and get 2,000 litres of this. Let's go in a little bit. Up to about 3,000 if we can. And, yeah, like I say, I'm really impressed with how nicely it kind of puts it in. And then we'll get our straw. We'll do the same thing. Now we do have total mixed ration because we've got our straw in there. I can keep putting straw in as long as that green bar doesn't go too far up. So at the moment we've got 3,992 litres, but we have got total mixed ration in here. I can keep doing that mix and fettling the mixture until I get my full load in there. But what I can do is close that down again, like so. And the same thing with this one, I want to unload it. L1, R1 and triangle, opens up the sides. I can drive up and down a trough, like so. and unload as I go, or just in the trough wherever the trigger comes up. So it doesn't have to be L1, R1 and triangle. Like I say, if you come to an actual feed trough, it will often come up with a trigger and then you just unload. But that's nice, that. Pretty cool bit of kit. Turn it off. I know I'm leaving a mess everywhere, but don't worry about that. I won't save it, so I can pick up my stuff wherever I want. It's not a problem. What we're going to try out now is the next one. This is the MrSealyp Volcano. So the MrSealyp Volcano is a straw bale shredder. So this puts your bedding in, so it shreds it and flings it out for you, which is very nice indeed. It's got a little side step on here. Now this will take square bales and round bales. It will put one square bale in there, no problem at all. Now I would imagine, again, like I say with mods normally, people will always find ingenious ways of changing things up. It may be possible to put 2 square bales upright in here, so you might get 2 upright. It is designed to have one put in that way. Round bales, you really want to be putting them in this direction, so the round bit here. You may get 2 squeezed in there. I've only grabbed square bales for the time being. Where did I put them? Over here somewhere, over there. So what we'll do is grab, what tractor did I make sure had front loader forks on, or front loader attacher? I think it was the Agritron. I didn't show these being driven and all that kind of stuff because I think I did look at the Sami 40s when it first came out. I did kind of review the mod itself, but you can hear this one running as well now. Put that on. Now I think we can L1 and square. No, L1 and X. That ladder goes up and down, so L1 and X. I think we can raise and lower L1 and square, no circle. Raises and lowers that little section a bit. So what we need to do is get a bale and put it in. Like I say, my loading's never perfect, but we'll try. Would have been easier if it just came in from the other side, wouldn't it? Been getting a lot of flickering of late on certain maps. It's a bit weird, I'm not sure why. Don't know if it's a mod conflict somewhere, potentially. So what we'll do is lift it up, try and get it lined up as best we can, like so, and bring it down, catch it on the lip on the side, if we can, like that, and then pull back and it will drop in. Boom, like that. Very nice indeed. Actually, what we'll do, no, it doesn't. There are no members of the public around, we should be fine. Now, I don't think it has a specific side it comes out from, that I'm aware of. There we go. So it comes up with start overloading. R1 a triangle. And out it goes. So I suppose what would be better for this, I wasn't sure how that came out, I haven't tested it yet. This was the first test of using it. I've used various different bale shredders before. I thought it shouldn't be too difficult to get my head around, so I didn't test it, but I'm glad I showed it, because what we can do is come back like that and it kind of gives you a better... There we go. That's an interesting way of doing it. Nice animation. The bale will stay in there, although the volume of the bale has dropped to, look, bottom right says 2,200 litres. Then when that 2,200 litres is gone, that bale will vanish from that bale shredder. So you'll find this also under animals. Just there, 25,000 to buy. It does say 1 bales. I mean, like I say, I don't know whether you'd get away with it. It only requires 50 horsepower to run as well, so you can get away with this on fairly small machinery. So if you want to have a little tractor just left at your farm for doing things like bale shredding and clearing up feed areas and stuff like that, it's not going to require a huge amount of horsepower to run. There are no options available on this either. You get what you get. There you go. That's the MrSealyp Melodis and the MrSealyp Volcano by SimulagriModding. Very nice. Next we have got, what shall I go to next? Let's have a look at these. These are the Fiatagri Winner FSeries. This is by MrSealyp Modding. We've got a two-wheel drive version and a four-wheel drive version. There's another one to my left I'm going to show you in a minute because there's something really cool about that. So we'll have a look at that. Yeah, you can't actually see side-ons, that's quite nice. Quite a few options available on these. Various different wheel configurations, all sorts of things. Now on the Same SDL group pack over there, no doors and windows open. I don't think they do on these either. We'll have a check. But very nice, tidy mods. Again, something a little bit different to have in the game. Forestry option available on this one too, with the tubing all around it and a cage on the back. These you will find under vehicles, under small tractors. I think we're small tractors, pretty sure. So we go, the Winner Series and the Winner Series two-wheel drive. These will use 25 slots each for the first one on console. 25 grand for the four-wheel drive, 22 grand for the two-wheel drive. Options available on the four-wheel drive. We can change the main colour from the kind of Fiatagri kind of rust red to aftermarket black, aftermarket yellow, aftermarket Ford blue, and aftermarket silver, which is a little bit more of a grey, I suppose. Yeah, it's more grey than silver, but anyway, yeah, silver. We've got the option on Trelleborg, Nokian, Michelin, Mitas. Under Mitas, they're standard, that's what you get. Under Trelleborgs, we've got standard, we've got wheel weights, we've got wides, wide and weights, rear twins, front twins, narrows, rear narrows, narrow twins all round. I do like that. Then we got this, and this is the one that I was going to show you in a second. This is the 1.5 metre. Now this changes the wheel track, which I think is a really clever idea. It's really cool, especially if you've got barns, buildings, sheds for animals, which are quite tight to get into sometimes. But also I think these are designed for going between rows of, so like vineyards and things like that, where you've got tall standing things and a narrow gap between. If I go back to the one before, you'll see the wheel track there. It brings it right in. 1.5 metre. It's quite cool, that. I haven't really come across that before, but oddly, you're going to see in a minute, we've got another one that does the same thing today. And then we've got under Nokians, we've got standard. Now it says standard and wide, but it actually puts them taller. I don't think they go wider. If we look at it from the back, it actually looks like they get narrower. So they get taller but slightly narrower. Just a bit odd. But anyway, there you go. And then we've got Michelin standard, wheel weights, rear twins, twins all round, back to standard. We can have it with no rear mudguards, no front mudguards, rear and front mudguards, and then no mudguards whatsoever. We have air filter under bonnet. We've got a small filter, we've got a big filter, or under bonnet again. Weight block at the front. So let's try and get weight block. 480 kilogram or hydraulic linkage. No beacons. Left, right, dual, back off again. Engine setup 100 horsepower, the F100, 110 horsepower, the 110, 115 horsepower, the F115, F120, you've guessed it, 120 horsepower. Then we got the F130, 130 horsepower, F140, 140 horsepower. It's 140 horsepower, 38 grand. That's not bad, really, when you think about it. Front loader attacher, we can have it no, stall, auto console, or off again, and then we've got option of forestry, yes or no, which puts that cage over the whole thing. I don't think it goes higher than 140. No, back to the 100 again. So 100 up to 140 horsepower are your options. The two-wheel drive is pretty much the same for a lot of the options. Obviously, there's not going to be the changes on the front wheel because obviously it's two-wheel drive. But main colour options are exactly the same, as you can see. As you can see. We've got the option of Trelleborg, Nokian, Michelin, Mitas. Trelleborg standard, wheel weights, wide and weights, rear twins, narrows, rear narrow twins and standard. There's not the narrow option on this one. Same thing with the mudguards, but only on the back, not over the front wheels. Then the air filter under bonnet, small and large. Weight block, weight, hydraulic linkage. No beacons, left, right, both. And the same with the engine setups, goes all the way up to 140 horsepower. Front loader attacher, stall, alloy console or not. And then forestry, yes or no. So it's really only some of the tyre options are a little bit different on those. But that's what I mean, this one, it's incredible. It looks bizarre, it looks odd, but kind of cool at the same time. I like the idea of it, I think it's brilliant. So the two-wheel drive option, I went with rear narrows, twin narrows on the back of that one. This one I think I went for the miters on this because they were big, sort of bigger, chunkier tyres with the forestry cage on it as well. 140 horsepower, that one went with 130 horsepower. Lights, beacons, sounds nice, looks cool. In cab, like I say, there's no doors and windows, so I'm going to check that. So that's nothing pressed. L1, R1, L1, R1. Nothing comes up there for options for opening and closing of doors. Cycle throw light options. There we go. Not bad at all. I'm pretty sure the two-wheel drive sounds exactly the same. But we'll just double check. Yeah, pretty much. Lots of really nice detail on these. Very cool indeed. So there you go, that's the Fiatagri winner F-Series by MrSealyp, which brings me on to the last of the mods for today, and it's these. Now, as I just said, I can't remember the last time, if at all, on console I've come across a tractor with the option to have that narrow. Yes, you can have narrow tyres, but having the narrow wheel track. I know on FS17 we had the one with the variable axle adjustment, you can bring them out and in. But these are the Vigneron and Frutteto. These are designed for vineyards. This is by Black Eyes Modding. Yeah, for suitable between rows in vineyards and orchards. Fairly cheap, and the horsepower's not that low. And again, I like the concept because if you just want a small little kind of shuttle tractor for around the yard, for doing a bit of shunting work, a little bit of pickup here and there, you know, moving feed troughs, bale shredding, that, you know, those kind of things, for getting in and out of tight spaces and gaps, and it's really quite cool. Now, one thing I will say is I can't see a difference other than the colour of the wheels and stuff. That's the Frutteto, and that's the Vigneron. Sorry, again if I'm saying it wrong. Vigneron. I can't see a difference in the two of them. On the Modhub, it does say 6275, is it? And 6075. But the engine capacities, like horsepowers, were identical on each of those, so I was a bit puzzled by that. Other than the name being different on them, I couldn't see much other difference. But yeah, they're quite cool little, I don't know, again, it's one of those things, it's kind of making me smile. I don't know, you know, it's not a massive horsepower, all singing, all dancing, but I just think it's quite a cool looking little thing, you know. These you will also find under small tractors. So the Vigneron, 10,000, and again, really cheap, 10 grand for a 75 horsepower. I mean, it might be a little bit more for the 75 horsepower, but not very much at all. These were 9 slots each, I think they were. Yeah, pretty sure they were 9 slots each. And the Frutteto, again, I I'm not sure why there are two separate ones, but anyway, regardless. So we can change the rim colour from white to grey old, to red old, to black old. And this is the Vigneron, is the engine setup 6275. But if you look at the horsepower at the top, it says 6075. And on the side it changes, it says 62 or 75 actually on the bonnet engine cowling, like so, 62 and 75. Those are your options. If we look at the Frutteto, same options for the rims. Sorry. And then engine setup, this one runs then 62 and 75, this says 60 and 75, although the horsepowers still say 60 and 75. So really it's going to come down to whether you want Vigneron or Frutteto written on the side of your tractor. But I think, to be fair, to get a 75 horsepower tractor adds 1,200, so it takes us to 11,200 for a 75 horsepower tractor. For doing a bit of yard work and a few bits and bobs, and if we do get the vineyard stuff up and running with the ability to plant vineyards and all the rest of it, I think it's a cool little tractor. Has its place, doesn't it? So, let's jump in it, on it, I think. Say in it, from normal. £16 miles an hour, beacon, lights. There are no light cycles through this, it's just front lights, that's it. But we can put down the ROPS system on the top, the rollover protection. I can't remember what it was now, sorry. L1, R1 and left stick. So L1, R1 and left stick, we can put the kind of roll bar down if you'd rather have it without. On your head be it though, because what I will say, literally on your head be it, there's a nice bit of lean on this when it turns, and I really like that. It's got a cool little bit of lean. However, get a bit of speed up and turn too quickly, this thing goes up on two wheels really easily. So, because it's got such a narrow track. So I would suggest, just for health and safety reasons, keep that up. But anyway, that's it for the mods for today on Monday the 22nd of June. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you choose to do. Thanks for watching.